We're going to hear a brief scripture from the prophet Micah, chapter 6, verse 8. God has told you, O mortal, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you but to do justice and to love kindness and to walk humbly with your God. Those of you who knew Frank well, or who read his obituary, know how accomplished and successful Frank was. But the text we just listened to from the prophet Micah underscores a truth that virtually every major religious or ethical vision or tradition affirms. And that is that when all is said and done, the true measure of a person's life actually has very little to do with accolades and achievements, or possessions, prestige, or portfolios. Rather, the true measure of a life has more to do with the essence of the person's character, who the person is. It's less about whether one was successful in business, and more about how one went about one's business. And I chose that text from Micah because it's such a concise and beautiful summary of what life is ultimately all about. And that text, as Franklin himself so often did, cuts right through the you-know-what and gets to the point. What life's about: justice, kindness, fairness. Justice means a lot of different things. Another possible word for it is fairness. Treat people fairly. In other words, don't always be looking for a self-centered angle or an upper hand or some way to get over on someone else. You can do good, be good, and also do well. Justice means not cutting corners in ways that you know lack integrity. It means delivering on promises. In fact, going way beyond what's expected or required. And what happens when a person lives that way is that people trust him or her. When you live that way, people will entrust to you important matters because they know you'll get it done, you'll do what you say you're going to do, and you'll do it right. With integrity and dignity and some class. That was Frank Perlmutter. And then you don't have to spend your life looking over your shoulder or worrying about who or what is going to catch up with you someday, because there's nothing to hide. Frank Perlmutter was a just man. Not perfect. In fact, those of us who knew him well, he was delightfully imperfect. But he was a fair man. And he was a kind man. When someone is grounded and strong and has a healthy sense of self, they know who they are, then they don't need to go around barking all the time and pushing people around and trying to play tough. You don't need to waste your energy telling people what to do. You can be firm, no nonsense, and yet gentle and approachable and understanding and willing to forgive and not hold things against people even when you have every right to. And give people another chance. Let people learn from their mistakes. Ironically, Frank Perlmutter died from a physically bad heart. But in this deeper metaphorical sense, Frank Perlmutter had one of the best hearts I have ever known. He was a kind man. And then there's humility. Humility is not about playing it small. It's understanding that true greatness is less about looking good and more about serving the common good. Author C.S. Lewis once wrote, "Humility is not thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less." Frank was a humble man. Oh, he made a lot of things happen. He was no shrinking violet. never made them about himself. He didn't need that. He got more joy out of starting the band and bringing the musicians together than showing off on stage. He brought people together for purposes that were bigger than any one person, including himself, or any one group, or even any one business. And that's why people followed his leadership, because his greatest joy was figuring out a way for everyone else to be able to contribute to something that mattered. And I have no doubt that Frank was deeply honored and proud that there is a Perlmutter place. But I guarantee you that's not what motivated him to do what he did for this school and this community, with Liz right there working hand in hand with him. You are a team, and the kids as well. So in conclusion from me, I once heard it said that if you want to know who someone really is, then look into the eyes and listen to the words of those who knew that person the best. And so that's what we're going to be privileged to do for the rest of our time together this afternoon, beginning with Frank's brother and sister, and then his 3 beloved children. And then Frank's sister-in-law, Jessica, will share a Psalm 23, a reading from Psalm 23. And then we'll hear from one of Frank's closest business partners and friends, and one of his friends in life for the last 30 years. So let's all take a deep breath and send some good energy to those who are going to come up here and speak, because this is not easy to do. And I'm going to invite Frank's brother, David, and sister Janicia to come forward.